The Radio Whammo Breakfast.
Issues of the day under T-Radar.
Yes, so what are the important issues of the day according to Mr. T-Radar? We're going to find out. Good morning, T-Radar.
Man, they are so meaty and varied. Isn't it nice? That's a nice track, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nice to see these sort of members of these bands still out there doing their things. Like Robert Scott's got a new album out as well from the Bats.
The Bats?
Yep. Adding that to my collection, see what he's doing in a solo land.
And the Bats seem to be stronger than ever at the moment, actually, with the amount of activity they're doing and touring and music they're putting out.
Touring, see, it's that thing, and you see a lot of the big bands, I suppose, overseas, and quite a lot of touring because the old record sales are down. They've got to go back on the road, or they've had their money badly invested by someone. Terrible, isn't it? When you get, I think Leonard Cohen was like that, wasn't he? He had all of his money, and you think by the time you get into your 70s and you've done all that work, you'd have a nice, lovely retirement, but then no. Financial skullduggery.
There are a lot of international acts coming. Any to take your fancy?
No.
No? You won't be going to Roxy Music?
No. What was the last one I went to? I went to the Pixies.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to Gaga as well.
Did you? Yeah.
I wanted to see the spectacle.
Okay.
And I found it a deeply intriguing sociological experiment.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, Wire is coming as well.
Oh, hey, I wouldn't mind going and seeing them. It's so hard to actually keep up with all the people that are coming and going. You need to sort of
be more
in touch.
I think it's the dollar. I think it's the dollar. Yeah, it's the dollar.
Yes, could be. Yes.
And because touring companies here can import them easier. And what also falling CD sales, that kind of stuff. So touring is the better thing to do, I suppose.
And I suspect venues.
And venues, yes.
Victor, and places like that, so that there's a nice big indoor place that they can play that isn't a tent.
Yeah. WikiLeaks, of course, must be up the top there on your issues.
WikiLeaks, yes. A big sort of a regurgitation of supposed cables yesterday, 251,000 odd of them.
Why are we calling them cables?
Well, I think they were it was diplomatic cables, which, what are they? They're essentially like a sort of a telegram, I suppose, in the past.
It's very old-fashioned.
I suppose it's one of those sort of anachronisms from the past.
Why can't they just say...
They're emails now.
That's what they are. It's an email. Someone sent an email, to, like everyone else does on a day-to-day basis. They just like to call them cables to sound more important, but they're just an email. Yeah. Yes,
I like this. Oh, there's a cable has arrived from our man in Dugagistan, and you go, oh, a cable. It's like, yeah, please, I've really had enough here. There's nothing really happening.
I think I might try that next time I get a phone call. Excuse me, could you please send me a cable instead?
Yes, I had one of those moments the other day. We were talking about something, and someone said, the shipment's arriving in Lagos in Nigeria, and we're going to meet it there. And I went, oh my God, my life is tick. I ticked off another thing that I wanted to do in my life. Arrive and go to Lagos and wait for a shipment to arrive and then pick it up and track it. So fantastic. But no, nonetheless, and the best ones to me, there's all the sort of the I guess the diplomatic stuff. The Saudi royal family urging a strike on Iran to reduce its nuclear capability and all of that kind of thing, and various other things, spying on the UN. But it's the little things that like me. There's a great one going around about a wedding somewhere that sort of describes that. But to me, it's the Gaddafi one. Doesn't like flying over water, apparently. Muammar Gaddafi.
Doesn't he?
No, and also travels everywhere with his 38-year-old, I think she's sort of Scandinavian, voluptuous nurse. Won't go anywhere without her.
These are the hard facts.
The hard facts. And it's one of those interesting things. I heard someone on your news break, just before saying, oh, it's all about transparency and everyone has a right to know. And it's kind of like, well, it's a little bit like having a family, isn't it? Diplomatic cables are like those phone calls you make to your siblings when you're talking about your parents or your other siblings, and you'd think, oh, God forbid they should ever be released. It's these little things.
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay. But the key word there is diplomatic. So if you're going to use these official channels, make them for official business. And
I don't know. I think that's what diplomatic cables have been about for over the millennia. It's all the sort of the scuttlebutt and the things that you need to know in order to make decisions.
Like if you want to make snide comments about Ahmadinejad, do it on your Facebook page.
Yes, because I suspect they've probably got Facebook blocked over there somewhere. So
that's right.
Know, and hide it in the open. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, they're all private thoughts, obviously.
Well, Michael Laws has been in a little bit of trouble this week for his private thoughts. There was a story came out a couple of days ago that said these favourable sort of comments had gone up on some website or somewhere about Michael Laws, and someone traced them back, and it turned out they'd come from an email address from a company that was owned by Michael Laws, in which he is the sole shareholder. And he said, "Oh no, I've never sent favourable emails about myself. I don't have the time for that kind of thing." Well, clearly someone from your email address did it. Perhaps one of your children. We don't know.
He's got a secretary, doesn't he? He's got a personal minder.
He may well do, yes. Yes, he may well have a personal minder. Gaddafi, of course, apparently, you remember we talked about him in the past as well, Gaddafi used to travel with that big entourage of female bodyguards.
That's right, yeah.
Yes, apparently not taking so many of those with him anymore.
Oh.
Just the voluptuous Scandinavian nurse.
I see.
Yes, and
Right.
350 assorted delegates.
There's random information also, like how a 75-year-old American of Iranian descent rode a horse over a freezing mountain range into Turkey after officials confiscated his passport.
Yeah. Wonderful stories of human survival that they sort of get tucked away. And they always remind me of the Ark of the Covenant and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Remember at the end, where it was tucked away, this incredible treasure amongst all of this sort of gathering dust. And I suspect amongst those cables are these incredible stories. And
I was haunted by that movie.
Yes.
Just when they opened it up and their faces melted off.
Oh, terrible. Well, I was traumatised by the first one, Temple of Doom, when he reached in and pulled out the heart, the still-beating heart. I went, oh my goodness, is that possible? Yeah.
Could someone do that to me?
Really? I know. I was quite young at the time. I was in the cinema alone. That hasn't really changed. Still don't have anyone to go to the movies with. But no, I was quite terrified.
Yeah. So the people, the editors around the world opening up these WikiLeaks better be careful that their faces don't melt off.
They don't know what they may unleash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a can of trains heading towards U2.
A can of trains, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone went to the U2 concert by train the other night, but I think it was on the Thursday or the Friday there was a kerfuffle and some hubbub about the fact that someone kept pushing the emergency stop button on the train, and immediately people started twittering and said, "Oh, if the government can't get this right, how are we going to do the World Cup?" And you think, "Oh my God, are you totally moronic?" Turns out that it wasn't some random person just wishing to sabotage the train, but people have come forward and said, "Look, actually it was us. We're on our normal commuter train, and we were really, really wanting to get off at our station because, once it goes past your station, you're not at your station anymore." But they said, despite the fact that they would stop, the trains were so crowded and the platforms were so crowded, they kept driving through. And so we had to press the emergency stop, otherwise we'd never get to where we needed to go.
They'll end up at U2. Well, they'll end up at U2 without a ticket.
Yes, and then I had to stand on the outside and listen to that muffled drone. I wonder how many people did that, the Scotsman stand there, stood around on the outside and just listened.
Fair number, I suppose.
I suppose.
A lot of people talking about that gig. Obviously, you weren't there.
No, I wasn't. They had friends that went. They said it was fantastic. Yeah, not really my type of thing. I find U2 just a bit, I don't know, something about Bono that really gets on my goat. I think it's the pompousness.
It is that. It's probably the C word as well. Anyway, thanks very much, T-Radar.
We'll speak again next week. There may be some more revelations, hopefully not about us and WikiLeaks, and I'm sure the world will continuing on.
And in the meantime, I'll drop a few cables.
You said that, not me.
See you, T-Radar. It's 22 minutes past 8.